Notre Dame soundly defeats Virginia on senior day in a sloppy and choppy ball game. If this is the Irish offense that we are going to see the rest of the year, I gotta say, we might be in trouble.
By Samaja, inside the 20, inside the 10, he's going in! Notre Dame has scored!
Go, 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 go! You will be that driving force to motivate those coaches and those players to beat Southern Cal!
Notre Dame is relevant again.
The 20, the 10, 5-5 rocket touchdown!
Notre Dame is number one!
It's a game of who's going to flinch first. We know that it won't be Notre Dame.
Hello again, everybody. I'm Landon Traylor, joined by Dylan Kearns, Logan Traylor, and John Richards. We hope you're having a wonderful day. We're coming to you on Monday, November 18th. We're getting down to it, folks. It is almost here. We have 2 more weeks left of the regular season, and then Conference Championship Week, and along with Army-Navy Week, of course. But it's coming down to the nitty-gritty. We'll jump right into it. The Fighting Irish beat the Cavs 35-14 inside of Notre Dame Stadium.
Stevenson here in a final regular season home game for Notre Dame. It is a short kick, and the ball comes loose, and Notre Dame's got it. Max Hurleman trying to stop UVA here on this latest drive, though. And with good room is Pace. Pace picks up the first down. Ball's on the turf. Notre Dame says they have it. Leonard over the middle, pass complete to Jaden Harrison for the touchdown.
Foot to the head, he will be out for a certain period of time. I'll continue after this.
Sorry, Zora, things are happening at an alarming rate. We've got a Don Schuler trying to go to the pylon. Usually gets the call. Nope, they're going to pass it and fool everybody, including us. Cooper Flanagan with the latest Irish touchdown. He's special. Everybody knows it. Here's Calandria running for his life again. Tries to set up for this one. Passes behind his receiver, and this is picked off by Moore. Another turnover. 1st and 10 from the Virginia 16-yard line. Trying to take advantage of yet another turnover. Plenty of time for Leonard. Now being chased out, throws it complete to the 5-yard line and diving for the pylon for the touchdown. Guess who? Mitchell Evans. He has shaped his coaching. Calandria with another pick. Unbelievable. In love with the game again.
Yeah.
It certainly was not fun with the opening home loss to Northern Illinois, but Jeremiah Love is gone. 76 yards.
JR, give me a little quick, immediate reaction to that 21-point victory.
Very slow start, extremely inconsistent on offense. The penalties on the offensive line in very critical situations has to end. We continue to beat ourselves and step on our own foot. With that said, the defense was dominant. They forced, 4 or 5 turnovers. I thought they were great all game long. We have a kicking problem. That is a major issue that also ties into the rest of our team, as well as our scoring ability or inability, which at some point will come back to bite us.
Mm-hmm.
But all in all, there were a lot of other things that were taking place last Saturday, and we could sit here and nitpick at Oregon. They went to Wisconsin and struggled. Those teams that are finding ways to win, they're not having their A game, especially on offense. Mm-hmm. We continue to lean on our defense. I like how our coach is focused.
Right.
I do like that we're kind of pushing the envelope a little bit on special teams, and we can discuss that play a little bit later in the ACC officiating crew. But all in all, I thought we did what we needed to do, as bad as it may have looked offensively at times. But we let people know that we dominated a team that was
improving,
had some nice wins, and I thought it was all right. I was okay with it.
Wow, look at that. Logan, immediate reaction to a win?
Yeah, I was able to watch the full game yesterday. Very slow start, which, for some reason we just can't fully cure that problem. But uh seeing Jeremiah Love get 16 touches was awesome, ended up with a lot of yards. I thought Riley actually played well. You read Twitter I read Twitter before I watched the game, so I really didn't know what to expect. Receivers have to be a little bit better. I think Riley's, doing what he can. My biggest problem is I just don't feel like the offense took a step back necessarily, but didn't take any steps forward. But kind of nitpicking there. I mean, I think that anytime you can, win by 21 and you don't play great, that's a testament to how talented you can be. Defense remains dominant. Kenny Urlacher is going to be a beast.
Yeah.
Beast. But with JR, in order to win and compete in a playoff setting, we got to be able to figure our special teams out, especially our kicking game. We can't have some of those loose ends, still be loose ends here in the upcoming weeks. And that's what really does scare me about this group is, you want to see improvement in, every single phase of the game. And sometimes it's not consistent that we see that.
Right. I'm with you on that one. Dylan?
Let's clap it up, fellas. Honestly, let's clap it up, okay? Slow start, yes. This was a game that I circled as a trap. No trap involved here. I know it was a very slow start. Tyree gave us something. But I'm going to say something right here, fellas. I'm glad we lost to NIU. I'm glad that we lost to Northern Illinois because here's exactly why. Ever since that game, it's been a different team. It's not like, oh, we're the Fighting Irish. We got these expectations. We're coming out. No, they're playing with a chip on their shoulder. So I tip my hat, if I had one on, I usually do, to Marcus, and look at what he's done. Like, he has got them ready every single week. No off week, no nothing. Georgia Tech could have been a trap. That game in Atlanta, anything that could have happened, he stood the test. And I want to tell you something here. Some people want to roast Notre Dame's schedule still. I don't know why, because it's very talented. They played some great ranked teams. Guess what Notre Dame leads the nation in right now?
Wins over ranked teams.
Not only that, but they have 4 wins over bowl-eligible teams.
Yeah.
4 wins over them. We're not done here, fellas. Virginia's 1 win away from being bowl-eligible. Make that 5.
USC.
Army, yeah, USC. That could be 6, and Army is definitely bowl-eligible if they win. We have 7 wins if we run the table over bowl-eligible teams. How about that? This team has turned a corner since losing to NIU, and I'm all for it. I mean, that's a gut punch that Marcus, a couple of years, he loses to a Marshall. He don't know who he is. Now he knows. He figures out how he loses to a bad team like that, and he says, screw it. I'm coming at you. Got to start fast. It's a little bit of a concern, but gosh darn it, these Irish are rolling.
Well said, Dylan. Well said. I want to know, since that NIU loss, the only closest game we have played was Louisville. We won by 7. And then Miami of Ohio, we won by 25. I think the final score of that was like 28-3, maybe 28-10, something like that. However, we've been kicking ass and taking names. I mean, I'm not a good math guy. Logan knows that. But the average margin of victory has to be up there for us, and that's impressive to see. Now, I don't want to lose to NIU though. I will disagree with you on there. I'm not glad we lost to NIU because that is all I've heard since that September 7th day. And to your point, the schedule. We have a win over Louisville, which was the ACC second place team, now losing to Stanford, which that also makes our schedule look a little better because we played Stanford, beat them by almost 50. And then we beat Texas A&M, who is the SEC leader once again, by the way, at their place by double digits. We also have a win against Georgia Tech, who beat Miami. So the schedule, we harped on the schedule in the pregame or in the preseason show. It played out kind of in our favor. It's still not what it's a softer schedule, but I like this schedule. Back to the Virginia game, though. Thank you, Dylan, for that. Riley Leonard went 22 for 33, as Logan mentioned. 214 yards, tossed for 3 touchdowns. Did have one interception where he kind of had to get that ball out really quickly, forced the ball there through that one pick. That was the first pick that Riley's thrown in a while. Not used to seeing that lately. And then I think Georgia Tech might have been his last interception, that deep ball he threw. He did only have 32 rushing yards. That's a big change for the Irish offense. Jeremiah Love with 16 carries. Once again, as Logan mentioned, 137 yards and 2 touchdowns. On the other side of the ball, Anthony Calandria, 8 for 21, 69 yards, 0 touchdowns, 3 interceptions. 3. I mean, wow. Tony Elliott had to make the change to Musket. He went 9 for 14 with 103 yards. UVA rushed for 128 and 2 touchdowns. And the defense forced five Virginia turnovers in that ball game. Whew. Logan, this defense is the reason we are winning ball games. I love this defense. It gets better every single week. We finally got to be able to force those turnovers that I've been looking for.
Yeah, I don't know how we continue to hang on to Golden. Fingers crossed if we can continue to keep him around. But back to Dylan's point a little bit, I texted JR exactly what you were thinking Saturday night. It's like, as detrimental as NIU might have been, it might have been the best thing for these guys. And I think I was telling Landon, like, I don't remember the last time I've seen a defense just dominate throughout the year. And even with the loss to NIU, they gave up 16 points. So, I mean, you feel really good. Obviously, we've been in this spot over the years, and, you get let down over and over again, but just taking it 1 week at a time. And, defensively, what's crazy is we're not even that healthy on that end. We're not our best corner, our first round draft pick. And so depth is an issue there, but young guys have come and performed, which is a testament to, one, recruiting, but 2, coaching. And, the staff has done a great job of putting those kids in a position to, one, just be comfortable in their role, but 2, exceed expectations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And that speaks to our bench as well. I mean, we got young guys coming in and out and just really stepping in those roles that need to be filled. And I'm very happy with how those roles have been filled. It was a 7-0 Notre Dame lead after Notre Dame scores on the opening kick after UVA fumbles. It was about 4 plays later. Obviously, you cannot advance the ball on a kickoff when it's fumbled. Stupid rule. We'll get to more stupid rules here in a minute. It was a 14-0 Irish lead, and we had a huge pass called back for illegal hands to the face. Watch the replay on the video board. Watch the replay on Twitter last night. I didn't see much hands to the face there. I thought it was a clean football play. And then later we were able to fake a punt, run it to the house, but it was called back for illegal formation, which was absolutely awful. However, I will say, by rule, it was a good call. JR, I know it was awful to see. It was a horrible call. It's an awful rule, but by rule, you have to have 5 linemen lined up 50 to 79, and we did not. So therefore, by rule, it is an illegal formation.
I don't know. I thought that was still under scrutiny because of something to do with the distance between the center and who it was snapped to. I've seen this argued both ways. I don't really know, but it points to a bigger issue, and I don't know if you want to look at it as a positive or a negative, but we've got issues in the special teams game. So if we're going to play aggressively and show that stuff on tape to give us a little bit of an edge, I'm okay with it. Yeah, the rule is dumb. However it's interpreted, I don't really know. But I like the mindset behind it, especially with how we're playing on that side of the ball. So I didn't have that big of an issue with it.
I didn't either. I loved it.
Other than the call itself.
Right.
And it surely fired up our coach. I'll say that.
I have not seen that fire in Freeman. I mean, he called a timeout, and the entire timeout, I was watching, I was there. He was grilling the officials to the point where all three of the officials came over to Marcus Freeman and told him to stop and get back on his sideline. The next drive, Freeman was still out on the field after we ended up punting it away and they took a television timeout. He was on the field at about all the way to the hash, screaming at the officials still. It was awesome to see that fire that we have not seen from Freeman.
Well, listen, extrapolate a little further from that. If you look at how they responded, the defense after that, it didn't matter anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Was when Schuler got the pick six, right?
Right. Down to the 1 yard line, two plays later. Yep.
So that plays into the mentality, the mindset, the aggressiveness, how Freeman is going. Let's go back to Dylan's point about NIU. Yeah, you don't ever want to lose a game, but the old adage is lessons over losses. So if you can turn your biggest negative into arguably your largest growth moment, and it carries you throughout the year, let's see what we do. Credit to Freeman and Golden and Denbrock, all of the staff. I've been hard on Freeman, and I don't want to backtrack.
Right.
We could compare records to Baton Rouge if we want right now. I'm in a much better place.
Yes.
And here we are. We got a chance to run the table and win an Addy. That's what we're in this for. So
absolutely. There you go. And then 2 plays later, as you mentioned there, JR, Dylan. And 2 plays later, UVA would throw an interception. Schuler runs it back to the 1, and Love would just punch it in. And then, with about a minute left in the quarter, UVA throws another interception. Notre Dame would score to take a 28-0 lead at the half. And then in the third quarter, Jeremiah Love would cap it off with a 76-yard touchdown run in the third quarter. And then UVA would get on the board. It was a very controversial call, very controversial catch, as you could take a look at it. I'll put it up here on the board for everybody to see. Not you guys, the audience. So they ruled it a catch and a fumble that was recovered by the offense, yet he never had control of the ball, and the ball literally hits our turf. So the officiating on Saturday was some of the worst that I have seen from the ACC, and we have seen a lot of bullshit from the ACC, and this was a lot of bullshit on Saturday, and quite frankly, I hope those officials never step foot inside of Notre Dame Stadium again. That is how bad they were. Awful. Awful all day. Took 3 touchdowns off the board from us, gave UVA great field position to score. Didn't matter, though. We kicked their ass. We kicked their conference's ass every year. I mean, do the math. I think we have 2 losses to the ACC in the last 3 years. I mean, so take that as you will. UVA would, as I mentioned, would score a rushing touchdown to the third and then a garbage touchdown with 18 seconds left in the game. Hey, Tony Elliott cost a lot of people some money there with that timeout with 18 seconds left. Notre Dame was up by 28. They were covering. Timeout. Touchdown UVA. UVA covers. Oh, boy. As JR alluded to, special teams was an absolute disaster for us on Saturday afternoon. We went 0 for 2 on field goals. We fumbled a punt, and we had 0 yards on the punt returns, fair catches and minus yards at times, but we were able to break even with 0 punt return yards all game long. And the punter was great. He flipped the field a couple times. I will say it was great to see because he's been struggling as of late. Just the special teams. JR, there's going to be times where we need to flip the field on a punt. There's going to be times where we need to kick a field goal to, quite frankly, stay in the game or maybe win us the damn game. Not very confident that we can do that.
Not at all. Our punt returner, he scared me all day long. I mean, I thought he was going to fumble pretty much every punt he handled. I still don't know who our kicker is. Sometimes we throw Jeter out there. Sometimes we throw
Dwight
Yoakam out there.
Yeah, meeting.
Next game, we might throw Landon out there. I really don't know.
Right.
But that's something that we really figured out.
I know. And we got to figure it out quickly because in a couple weeks, we might host a playoff game in South Bend with swirling winds and cold. And that's, I mean,
Couple weeks this week.
oh well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I was alluding to the playoffs. You know, Dylan, special
We don't win
team.
this week.
What?
They'll get there if we can't kick this week.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. You know, it was.
If I may,
Yeah, you can.
may I? And I don't want to jump ahead, but I want to warn everybody: be careful for the Naval Academy slant again. If we win this game, we're beating an undefeated ranked team. But by the end, if we put them in a tailspin and they lose out, well, then it was just Army. None of that. We're playing an undefeated team that's ranked, what are they, 17th right now?
In the AP, 24th. They're not getting much respect in the CFP. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm taking this game seriously.
Yeah, as am I. I think I'm taking this one more seriously than I was against the Naval Academy.
Is this the third undefeated team we played?
Navy.
NIU.
Oh. Oh.
Serious.
I think Louisville was undefeated when we played them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It could.
Again.
Yeah. Hey. You know, speaking of special teams, the Packers had a great special teams play last night, yesterday afternoon in Chicago. Little block field goal there to win the game. Poor Chicago. The Bears suck and always will. All right. It was an ugly win, but a 20-point win is good. But quite frankly, from what I have seen and from what we have all seen as of late, it wasn't pretty at all. It's not what we've been seeing. We've been seeing Notre Dame put up 40 points and giving up 7. You know what I mean? Like Logan said it best. We didn't take a step back on offense or as a team, but we didn't take a step forward, which at this point in the season, I think every game should be a step forward when you have 3 games left. So I would have loved to see us play better offensively. It's concerning late in the season to play like that offensively. I was not impressed with the offense on Saturday, just because of what we've seen in the weeks leading up to this game. We've seen a dominant offense, Logan.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. I think if we want to be true contenders, we've got to learn, to throw the ball down the field. It's been the same story every year, right?
Right.
And with this offense, we have so many weapons. If they could figure it out, which they have.
Yeah.
A team like a Georgia, a team like an Ohio State, who is going to put up points, our offense is going to have to learn that they have to consistently put up points. And that starts with, you can't start slow against those types of teams. And that's what scares me. The playoff setting, you start slow and put your defense in a poor situation against an elite team. That's where we tend to fall short.
Absolutely.
We'll see.
We shall see. We got a lot to figure out in a short amount of time. Special teams, offensively. 2 more weeks left of the regular season. But before we get out of here, some housekeeping we got to do. Week 12 in college football. It was an awesome week of college football. That's why it makes it one of the greatest sports ever. Ohio State rolls Northwestern at Wrigley Field 31-7. Northwestern scored first, had a 7-0 lead, and then OSU rattled off 31 straight to win that ball game. Texas beats Arkansas 20-10 in Fayetteville. Sloppy performance from the Longhorns after a bye. Penn State rolls Purdue 49-10 in West Lafayette. Colorado rolls Utah 49-24 in Boulder, and the playoff talk is just a mere 3 wins away for the Colorado Buffs. Coach Prime could sneak in and get that automatic bid to the college football playoff. That is a reality, folks. And quite frankly, I'm usually Mr. Negative here on Prime. I think it's going to happen. I think it's going to happen. Tulane absolutely rolls Navy 35-0. Tulane, one of the underrated group of 5 teams out there. SMU survives a tough Boston College team, 38-28. Stanford knocks off Louisville 38-35 in a wild ending. An unsportsmanlike conduct penalty that just can't happen. That's the things that you just cannot allow to happen as coach. JR, you watched it, didn't you? I've watched it, but you got to watch it on Saturday. I just watched it this morning. I mean, woo!
I saw it live, and that wasn't the worst part. They attempted a field goal with from 57, and the guy from Louisville jumped off sides. So add another 5 to it. It made it a 52-yarder. Another thing too. I want to go back to Navy. Navy stinks now because they've lost every game since we played them. So we get no credit for sending them into that turmoil and tailspin either.
Oh, we broke guys. Yeah, we broke them. I mean,
no, we didn't. They're Navy. They were just Navy. They were undefeated at the time and they were ranked, but they really sucked when we played them.
Yeah, they were putting up 40 points a game when we played them, but hey, we didn't do anything. Clemson stuns Pittsburgh 24-20. Cade Klubnik ran it 52 yards to the house in the final seconds of the ball game. Unbelievable. South Carolina beats Missouri 34-30 in another wild ending. Look at Coach Beamer playing Beamer ball down there in Columbia. Florida beats LSU 27-16, and oh my. He's got some issues down there in Gumbo Town, Logan.
Publicly gonna admit you're wrong, or
I did last week. Oh, you weren't here. You weren't here for the Florida State recap. That's right. That's right. You got to go back and watch it. I apologized and I said I hate to admit I was wrong, and I apologized to both Dylan and
got
James.
some issues.
Yeah.
He's got some issues. That buyout's big, and they have a good recruiting class coming in, so it'll be interesting to see what LSU does here.
USC survives Nebraska 28-20 in LA. The Trojans are having a tough go at it in the Big Ten, folks. I mean, woo, you love to see it. Yeah, they got the ultra-ribbed, ultra-small Trojan. Oregon escapes Madison with a 16-13 victory. Oregon, man, they struggled in that one, but good teams find ways to win, and that's what Oregon does. Go ahead, Logan.
Wisconsin coming off a bye, too. Oregon's played, 7 straight weeks as well. That was a tough, gritty win for them.
Yeah.
Go to the Midwest.
Yeah, 16 to it's 16 points. Eesh, yeah. Oh, I am big on Dan Lanning and the Ducks. Georgia beats Tennessee 31-17, sparking chaos throughout the college football playoff world. Washington State loses to New Mexico 38-35, officially eliminating them. And Kansas upsets Brigham Young University 17-13. Ultimately, I think eliminating BYU unless they win the Big 12 from the college football playoff race. That you can't lose to Kansas like that. At home, too, mind you. So BYU, tough go at it there for the Mormons. We are back tomorrow to preview the Shamrock Series as Notre Dame renews its old-time rivalry with the unbeaten Army Black Knights in Yankee Stadium. Until then, we will see you tomorrow morning.